Hi, Josh.
How are you?
I'm
Uh,
fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Rugby Fanatics is so glad to host you today. I will not take the honors to introduce you. I would like you to introduce yourself to the fans. Uh, uh,
Uh,
Myself, Tale Joshua Musodera, uh, the host of the Rugby Fanatics show. I'm joined by Charlotte. Please take the honors to
yeah.
introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, Josh. Hope you're good and you're doing fine down there. Called Charlotte Thereza Mudoola. Emphasis on the Thereza to show how, I'm a strong Catholic. I think basically that's it. That's my name, Charlotte Thereza Mudoola. And I'm glad to be joining you on Fanatics Rugby.
Yeah, Charlotte, if you would help us, please turn your phone just to face you, so that we don't see you in an upside way.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is good you have a drink besides you.
Is this better?
Yeah, yeah, that's better, much better.
Okay. Wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah,
That's, you can hear.
yeah, we can hear you. Timo has already suggested there's another name you didn't mention to us, but we shall know as time moves on.
That
I
name is
get.
for those in the clan. That name is for those in the clan. It's not for every. If you're not in the Mudoola clan, you don't have rights to know it. So,
I guess it didn't have a chance to fit on the passport and your documents because the others were
you
already
know,
too long.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's also equally long, so I had to leave it out.
We shall get to know it, don't worry. If you don't tell us, I'm sure Fred or Timo will tell us.
No, they know they cannot because they know what I'll do. So that's what
ah, don't scare us. You caused
I'm telling
you
you.
caused you caused ruckus at that time, so I think they are ready for anything.
I think for that one they'll stay away from it because they know I'll punish them very seriously.
Sure, I'm sure it is going to come up as we go on. So, Charlotte, um,
Yeah.
w- we we brought you here on board to chat women's rugby in Uganda, and as one of the shining stars of women's rugby, I'm sure you have a lot to share with us. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm going to just go straight to your journey as a rugby player. Uh, you just got to give us a brief background. What interested you in playing rugby? If you played other sports before your previous schools, whether you played rugby in school. So, Charlotte, just take us through your journey a little in the 2000s or 1990s when we were not
In the
aware
80s.
of who, yeah, who Charlotte was.
Basically, my rugby journey started in the most weird way. Because
Hmm.
actually, initially, I hated rugby. Because having two brothers who played rugby,
Hmm.
it was a problem. You're fighting over the remote. I want to watch something else. They wanted to watch rugby every Saturday. So I grew hating it, but at the same time, I was watching it by force.
Okay.
I didn't have a choice to watch. Like every Saturday, they had games to watch. Then basically, because I was in Namagunga, Mount St. Mary's for my senior one to senior four.
I'm sure you wanted
But
to watch cartoons.
uh, uh, teenagers, teenage girls and the stuff they love. That I
Hmm.
think you know that. So
Hmm.
basically, in high school, I was more into volleyball, soccer, and basketball, and I
Okay.
was in the school teams, but I was mainly to volleyball back in Magunga, and it was the biggest sport at that time in high school. So
Okay.
basically, actually played for one of the best teams in like volleyball, basic VCM, it was called VCM, Volleyball Club of
Hmm.
Namagunga, and one of the top teams um,
Okay.
in Uganda. actually play East Africa games, national games. Basically, it was just volleyball was my focus mainly at that time. But then in S6, S6, S5 and S6, unfortunately, not unfortunately, maybe it was a blessing in disguise. I went to Vienna for my
Okay.
HSC. Yeah, I was in the same class with Martin Kalgonjo. I think most people know Martin Kalgonjo.
Okay. Yeah, I think they know him.
Kalgonjo. Martin was he would actually have made a very amazing center at that time, but I don't know what happened. So it's Martin actually who actually introduced me to rugby. He approached me, I was like, you're a Mudoola. There's no way a Mudoola can't play rugby. So you should come and join us because in Vienna I used to play soccer in the school league. So I would play in the S1 team. We formed a team with the S1s and I was the only female S5 player. So we'd play, Vienna had a Premier League, S1s, S2, S6. You mix up and have different players. So I would play with the senior ones because, of course, that was the most logical thing for me at that time. Same size, I could blend in easily with the senior ones.
And that is when your interest in Teletubbies grew too.
Teletubbies, at that time we had Teletubbies. Did we have Teletubbies?
Yeah,
think we had Teletubbies.
I think we had Teletubbies by then.
We had these Power Rangers, that kind of thing.
Which year was that?
Around 2000 and 2003, 2002.
We had Teletubbies by then, I'm sure.
Then I was a weird child. I didn't know. I never watched Teletubbies that time.
They were still a hit by then.
Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, Timo knows better. So that he used to frown over Teletubbies. So that chapter is going to be closed very soon.
Timo, you better keep quiet. Anyway, so it was Martin who asked me, you know what, you join us for a session, and then you'll see what it's like. So I just one day, like after class, I joined them, and it was so natural for me. Like because everything, I knew what you had to do. I knew the rules because from watching, I knew what I had to do. So from that day, I realized I actually enjoyed playing it. So, and that's when I started playing with the Martins, training with them, would play touch, would train. Of course, I would never play games, but because, high school games are really intense and
I know.
There's too much beef. So I would only train with them and play. And that's how I started playing rugby. Then S6 back, Mr. Timothy, I had actually gotten a chance to play for a volleyball club, for a volleyball called, was it KCCA? Was it KCCA or KVC? But then Mr. Timothy approached me. I was like, well, there's a women's team. There's a lady called Helen. She started a rugby team at Chadondo. Why don't you pass by and introduce yourself and start slowly?
So like, are we talking about Timothy Mudoola?
Yes, Timothy Mudoola.
So you call him Mr. It was so much of so many pleasantries that we're not even knowing which guy you are talking about.
I'm calling him Mr. Timothy because I'm trying to be nice, because I don't want him to reveal.
You're lying to yourself.
So yeah, that's why I'm trying to be nice and sweet, so that he can actually not reveal my secret name.
By the time Jose Redo is here, just know we're going to find out so much about you.
Yeah, but Teddy Bear is on. I can see hi Teddy Bear. So basically, I went to walked to Chadondo. I approached Helen. I was like, hey, I'm called Charlotte. Timothy said you guys play rugby. And I would like to try out and join. And she was so friendly. She was like, yeah, it's okay. Enough, you do. Like, she showed me what to do, changing rooms, everything. And the moment I stepped onto that pitch, I never even went back for any volleyball session. I never looked back. Since then, I've played rugby and I don't regret my choice. And I've enjoyed the journey through.
Which was that when Timothy introduced you to rugby, like to the Chadondo based side?
S6 back, which was in 2004. 2004.
2003.
Yeah. So from then up to date, I've been playing and I've never regretted my choice and that journey that like experience as a female rugby player. It's been a hard journey, injuries and different struggles, but yeah, and that's how I got to play rugby till now.
So yeah, take us through 2004, 2005, 2006. I think you are still with the Chadondo-based club.
Yeah, Thunderbirds. Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
first.
Thunderbirds. Yeah.
Yeah, Thunderbirds was the first women's team in Uganda. Um, Rugby, like women's rugby in 2003, 4, 5, 6 was actually on, like, it was on it, like it was high, it was on top. We were
Yeah.
like we were playing. Kenya was actually would beat Kenya hands down. The players, everyone would play with everything they have. You could see the passion, the hunger to win. Guys were like you could see a family, of girls who just come
The
from.
likes of Christine Chizito.
Actually, Christian Chizuto came in later.
Oh.
Yeah, she came in later, like probably 2005. I don't know, but she came in later. But now we had the likes of Helen Buteme,
Yeah,
and
Helen.
Sizomo, the Geraldine Akubus. I don't know if you know Geraldine. Then we had Regina. There were so many.
I
There was
know
someone called
Regina.
Hadija. There was Rosenberg. There was
I know
Kayonjo.
Rosenberg. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know
So
most
then
of them. I pretty much know most of the women rugby players. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, and that's the time women's rugby in Uganda was like at the top and would win tournaments, move a lot, move around. We went to Rwanda, Kenya, would go for the Kabebri Sevens,
Okay.
Kisumu Sevens, and would whoop Kenya like crazy. And it was like piece of cake, So in those years, those were the glory, the days of the glory where we'd win every tournament, like Uganda would represent, and we were forced to reckon with. South Africa feared Uganda, in that time also, at that time too.
I know. I think it was around that time in 2009 when you went for the World Cup, is it?
Yeah, we went. Yeah, the qualifiers were in 2008, and then 2009 we went to Dubai for the first ever Women's Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, first take us through that journey, the World Cup, journey. I think you began preparations around 2008, when you had
Yeah,
started feeling that you guys could make it to the World Cup.
actually, the
How?
journey 2008. It started like 2006, 7, because the qualifiers were in 2008. So
Yeah,
at that time we had Sogi and what's his name? Sogi and who was our coach? Look at me, I'm forgetting our coach. Sogi was our coach with
I,
David
I,
Mutax. David
yeah,
Mutaka and
I
yeah.
think I think you should open up that Guinness bottle beside you because it opens up your mind.
So oh my god, that was one of the toughest journeys actually, because at that time I had finished law school and I was actually at LDC. So I had to balance between the rugby sessions and classes, LDC, and you know what they
Yeah,
say
yeah,
about
yeah.
LDC.
I,
It either
I,
makes you or
I don't know LDC because I feared going that route, so I don't know.
so it was one of the toughest journeys, especially where I would go for camps in Mokono. And Robert Seguya is a no-nonsense man. Oh my God. You would work out from morning to evening. By the time you go back, you go to bed to sleep. Like, you feel you don't want to eat anything. You're so tired that all you want to do is sleep. You would wake up early morning and go for road work. You run the whole of Mukono. I think at that time, I knew different panyas in Mukono that I never knew existed. Yes, I was in UCU.
Yeah, and with
So
that,
it was
and
that.
we have to thank Timo for continuously feeding you every day. Is that right?
The issue was, between rugby and classes, there was no time to cook food. So, Timo, I had to, and I needed my strength. So, as a good brother, of course, looking after the sister, had to feed me. You understand my point.
He wants to be mentioned, so make sure most of the times when you're talking, you mention him. Otherwise, he will
I,
remind you.
well, it was just okay. Sundays, on Sundays, he would try to make sure I have a good meal because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, during the week, on Saturdays, you've had a long day training and then you have classes. You have to go for class early morning. You have to go for tests, actually. Then after tests, you rush. You have to go for training. So it all happened at the same time, you know,
I know, I
preparing for
know,
the
I
World Cup.
know.
And, you know, because when we went for the World Cup in 2009, I had oral exams in 1 week. So actually, I reached a point I had to ask myself, should I really go for this? Do you know, at some point, I almost actually didn't go for the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
But then my dear friend Helen sat me down and was like, but are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
She talked to me like, you've really worked so hard, you know, to get Uganda to this stage, and you have a chance of being in the final team, you know. LDC, you always find LDC. If you fail those orals, you can
Mm-hmm.
always do again. World Cup, when do you, if we go this year, when do you think we'll ever go back for the World Cup again? You know, and you know the
I know.
body, the human body, you know, the older you grow, you
Uh,
depreciate, you can't perform as, you know, as better as you were young. But
that's true.
mind is always like, you can always be able to go back to school even at whatever age you like, as long as you want to go back to school. So she was like, you sit and think about it. After some time thinking about it, and I realized actually it made a lot of sense. So I was like, you know what? Let me not throw away this chance because this is once in a lifetime chance. You know, sports is funny. Things change like abruptly, and you can never know. And you see, up to now, we are still struggling to go back to any World Cup, even the Olympics or even the Commonwealth. So I made that decision, and I decided to go for the World Cup. I carried my books to prepare for the orals, but unfortunately, I didn't read anything. It was so fun that I forgot to read. But then I had to come back, and I had only 1 week to prepare for the oral exams at LDC. And I had an amazing.
Before we go into the orals, first take us through that amazing World Cup experience. I'm sure you guys had a
Oh,
lot of fun.
yeah, we had fun, but of course, it was also like a rude awakening call. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, we realized we are playing against the most experienced teams. You know, these are teams that they live, eat, sleep rugby. And this is
Mm-hmm.
a small Uganda with their big track suits that are oversized, you know, tiny. Christine was the biggest in the whole
So,
team. The rest were like,
which coach took you to the World Cup? Was it still Robert Sequeira and Mutaka?
yeah, it was David Mutax and Robert Seguia.
Okay.
The two, like, was the main coach and Robert Seguia was the assistant. So it was the two coaches who took us for the World Cup in 2009. Uh, you know, we were also overwhelmed. You know, you're seeing these players, you just see them on TV, and you're
I
actually
know.
now in the same, you know, you're sharing the same space. You enter the dining room, and it's just crazy, and you feel like, oh my God, this is something I've been working hard for, and it's like one of the best like experiences I'll ever have in my sports career as a sportswoman. So it was
And it
something
is the
really,
ultimate dream for everyone to be at a World Cup, of course.
yeah, yeah. So it was just, I remember it was in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at that time Dubai was the eat place to go to, and
I know, I know, I
um,
know.
you understand, and you know, and one of the biggest hotels, Atlantis. So just even being in the hotel itself, it was just a whole new experience, you know, being treated like VIP, like guests and everything. So it was something fun and amazing. Then when you come to playing in that stadium against South Africa in front of all those fans, like it was it was one of the I don't know. I was so nervous, but at the same time, the feeling, you know, when you hear people scream and shout, and you're just in the middle on that pitch playing,
I
was
hope you're
it,
taking not you're taking notice of those questions that are coming in because they're all facing you. So with time, you will have to answer them.
uh for the first game. Okay, the first game. Okay, let me answer. Actually, as I'm answering the question, Baby Red's question.
Mm-hmm.
Our first game, okay, we played it on a small pitch, but our first game on the main pitch, it was the best. You know, when you have chills,
Yeah,
you know, you're not, but then you have these chills of, yes, this is the moment. This is where I've always wanted to be.
I
And then
know.
you look around, people shouting and screaming, so you can't even hear your next, like your neighbor, like calling out. You know, it was one of those moments like everything just blacks out, you know? And
I
you're
know,
like,
I know, I get it.
especially when you're on the starting lineup at that. So at least when you're on the bench, you get time to take it in and soak it up. But then you're on the starting lineup and then they blow the whistle. And then you're like, oh my, it's go time now.
Oh,
And it was against
were there any Ugandan fans by then?
yeah, we had some fans who actually traveled. I remember, at least I remember Ahamia was there. There are some fans who actually traveled for they traveled actually to come and support us. You know, Uganda has qualified for the World Cup. It's a
I
first in
know, I
rugby, you
know,
know.
I know.
Yeah, so some fans, I don't remember them, although I don't
Didn't
remember some.
Timothy travel?
No, he wanted to come as my masseuse, but
Ah,
unfortunately,
okay.
couldn't make it. So it was unfortunate he couldn't come, but of course he was equally happy for me. Although I went there before him, you know, we are always competing against each other.
I
Even
know, I
now.
know.
So yeah, so I got there before him, but well, he's made the Commonwealth and the Olympics, which is a bonus for him. So he can take that for now. For now, so yeah. So it was one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life, and I've never felt that way ever again. And it's something I pray and hope for any female rugby player in Uganda right now. So yeah,
Yeah,
basically
the
that's it.
name is coming very soon. Yeah, so continue.
And to answer the handover jersey, of course, I was nervous. I was nervous. I didn't know, like, I was nervous. I didn't know. I was actually in our pool, we had New Zealand first. And we were going to play against, and on my wing, I
So
was going to
your
face
pool had SA, New Zealand, and which other team?
Italy and Brazil.
Wow.
Yeah, was it? No, Brazil was in there. It was Uganda, New Zealand, South Africa, Italy, Uganda, New Zealand, South Africa. Yeah, it was, yeah, New Zealand, Uganda, South Africa, and Italy.
Okay.
Those were the polls. It was, yeah, one of the toughest polls. And at that time, there was this winger, New Zealand winger called Kala Hohepa. Oh my God. And she was my opposite winger. So it was it was crazy. It was,
I can imagine.
yeah, it's something I wish for every female rugby player to experience. So I just hope those who do actually get the chance to actually play in the world stages and in the top stages. Yeah.
So most of our fans don't know what really happened in that World Cup. Please just give us a brief of what happened, the results, and everything. Uh, which players really showed it out for Uganda? Like the some notable mentions for the Ugandan side that really shone in the show.
The score I remember mostly was one against New Zealand. It was 50-0. For South Africa, yes, it was 20. No, South Africa, we scored one try, I think.
Yeah, so Ernest, take away your results. They are fake.
I think Justin Baiga, I know, did she score? No, she did. She actually almost scored, but they chased her down and they grabbed her and they stopped her. Then against Italy, it was 24-7. 24-7?
12-7.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Justin
12-7.
who scored.
Yeah. So it was just Justin Baiga who actually scored in that whole tournament.
So we're close to winning a game.
In the reverse, though. In the reverse. But unfortunately, we didn't win any games, unfortunately. And we only had one try, which was Justin Baiga. I remember that she was an athlete. They just brought her in for the World Cup. I just wish, unfortunately, okay, it happened, but I just wish we had taken like a rugby player who had actually played for years and worked hard for that position. But the coaches had their own game plan, so they had to bring in Justin Baiga for speed. It's just unfortunate she still lacked a bit of the skills, so
you guys could just run the ball to her and she just runs.
Yeah, that was the game plan. Like get the ball, run the ball and run. It's just that now at that time we hadn't mastered the defense technique. And now playing against those teams, they had done that all, like, they do that all year round, all year round. It's part of them. Like, they sleep, that's all they're thinking about. They're eating, that's what they're thinking about. So, like, every time she would run, there's a way they would close her out. And unfortunately, she had no skills, so she couldn't sidestep, or she didn't know, like, what to do in such situations. So they would always get her. You understand?
I
So, and then they
understand.
would turn over, and then they bring us back. And that's how, like, basically, that's how, yeah. And that's how tries kept raining in, because they would bring us back. We are trying to run. We are not yet organized, and tries would come in. So it was all about, we were very fit. We were very fast. What killed us, we lacked the skill, the real proper game skills at that stage and at that level. Yeah.
So yeah, after that you guys went to the bowl finals. I think you scored also a try in that other,
Against Brazil,
yeah, against Brazil. I think it was also
when we
Ernest.
lost.
Ernest gave us an update that it was also 12-7. Also another try
Yeah,
by Justin Baiga.
yeah. She scored all her tries, and Rachel Kakaire
Okay.
converted, because Kakaire at that kicker, and at that time she was a really very good kicker at that time. So she was the first choice kicker. So yeah, she converted all the tries that we made. Unfortunately, we scored 1-1 try in just the 2 games against Italy and Brazil.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was pretty an amazing experience, and as Ernest is updating us, we did pretty well. We finished 13 out of 16 teams, so
Yeah.
yeah, you guys represented us well. It's not that at least people going back to their homeland, they knew that there was a team called Uganda after that.
Yeah. Yeah, at least now people got to realize there's actually a team that plays rugby in Uganda. It's just that we were the most, I think, we were the underdogs. I want to believe we were the underdogs, but at least we got to surprise the teams there. And but basically, as players, like, lessons picked. I'm answering. As I'm talking, I look at the questions.
Yeah, that is right.
Yeah, so lessons picked from that World Cup. From then on, like, Helen and I, like, were like, you know what? We need to get conditioned. We are small, we are small, and just having speed and being overly fit, it's not going to get us anywhere. So
Yeah.
from that time, from 2009, we started hitting the gym seriously. Like, I've been hitting the gym since 2009 up to date. It's the one thing we were like, this is something we need to do. You can have all the skills, all the speed, all the feel, but if you're not well conditioned, there's no way you're going to take on these ladies, because these ladies survive on so much. They do supplements, they do a lot of strength and conditioning, they have nutritionists, they have different things that we don't have. So if you can add strength and condition on your speed and fitness and game skills, I think that's a bonus, and you can actually take them on and compete at a high level. So that's one of the lessons I picked from there. And then from then on, it also built on my confidence. I was like, if I can take on these ladies in the world stage, then
Sure.
basically I can do anything. So from then on, my confidence, it worked on my confidence. And I look forward to actually playing against, like, bigger teams, and teams from other countries. So yeah, basically those are the lessons I learned from the World Cup.
Oh, that is great. Yeah, so post World Cup, you guys come back upbeat. I think the next year we beat Kenya in the Elgon Cup. Before I mention the Elgon Cup, first take us through your games with Kenya, because I know it is always a rivalry we live to talk about and remember. But on the women's side, not much has been said, but I'm sure we've had much more success on the women's side than actually on the men's side. So first give us a few highlights of Kenya versus Uganda in the games you've played so far.
Kenya, Uganda, the games, actually at that time when we started playing, the games we played sevens most. We'd play sevens. Actually, sevens was the most popular game in East Africa at that time.
Yeah.
And of course it was Uganda and Kenya. Why I say sevens, because at some point, remember, we'd host Africa Sevens a lot. There are certain sevens would host every year almost, and teams from different parts of Africa would come.
Yeah.
And then also Kenya come a lot to Uganda to play sevens, and then they would equally invite us to go play the Kabeberi sevens, the Safari sevens, Kabeberi, Safari sevens, the different sevens. They would actually invite us and would keep like honoring their invites, and would always take 2 teams, and always our teams would actually whoop.
Mm-hmm.
They would whoop and like serious, would like take them for pace, who are the untouchables,
True.
So like, and I think in a way we helped women's rugby in Kenya grow, like, because as we played them, they kept learning from us.
So as you beat them, and on the other hand, the main side were showing up for more competition, they realized that they need to up their game.
Yeah. So as we kept beating, like they learned so much of their rugby from us. So we'd go play, they would beat us. I mean, we'd beat them. But then I realized that as we were beating them, they're also trying to improve on their game and their play and how they handle women's rugby in Kenya. So unfortunately, then also the Elgon Cup, they would come over, would beat them home and away. It was so like, it was just like, so like, basically we had everything, the skills, the pace. We knew each other. We knew each other in and out. We understood each other. We knew how the next neighbor played. Like basically, what like a team, and we had everything. We just played because game. At that time we played because we loved the game, and we put everything we had into the sport because we loved it, and we loved winning, and we enjoyed beating Kenya at that time. So those games were actually like real. There was a lot of rivalry, like, and women are very passionate about stuff. So we are more passionate than guys. So if there's a rivalry, then it was crazy in there, At some point you get out of a rack and you feel like someone has taken off a big chunk of your skin in a rack, and you're like, what the hell happened? So that's how bad it was.
I know.
And then a few like small fights, people, ladies, yeah. So it was so passionate but fun at the same time. So yeah, basically that's how crazy it was between Uganda and Kenya. And then unfortunately our rugby just dipped, and then Kenya rugby.
So before we talk about unfortunately, because we shall get to that part, and I know it is a sad story, and very many people are waiting to hear of what has really happened in women's rugby since the glory days we knew of. First, take us through your journey. You joining Black Pearl. I think. Oh, you didn't tell us. When did you start captaining the Lady Sevens team? Before you take us through your Black Pearl's career.
I started captaining Lady Sevens team in 2017.
2017. That is after. That's after Helen had retired, right?
Oh, as a player, yes. Yeah, actually, yeah. She had retired as a player, and she was actually that coach. I think she started in 2016, because 2015 she was an assistant, because Alan Musoke was the coach.
So who was captain? Who was captain of the Sevens team before?
At that time she's called Emma Oroma.
Emma Oroma, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know Oroma.
And I was the assistant.
Okay.
And I was her assistant. Yeah. So in 2017, Helen was still our coach. Then that's when I was appointed Lady Sevens coach. I mean, Sevens captain to date.
Yeah. So tell us about you joining Black Pearls, playing for Sailors, and all those stories, because very many of us are eager to hear about them.
Well, Black Pearls is a recent thing. It's like a 2020 team that I've actually started playing for. But from Thunderbirds, I joined. There was a second team string side called Rangers at Chadondo.
Okay.
So the Thunderbirds, and there was Rangers. Rangers was mainly comprised of some players who are from Thunderbirds and some new players, young upcoming players. Then from Rangers, I later crossed to Kampala Rugby Club, and at that time there was a team called Black Panthers.
Oh, Black Panthers! I know. Yeah.
That's you. Helen was there. Sexy, Brenda Kai, Prost. There were so many other players in Black Panthers, so we crossed over to the other side. The story about Sailors, well, playing, I think it reached a point we got bored. Helen, but how come the women's games are not that, like that fun like before? So, and Helen was like, but we can play for Sailors. So she went and talked to, I think, Bobby, the Pirates, Foxy. So she suggested, we can come and play for you, because they didn't have numbers and they needed the number. And for us, of course, we had the skills, the experience. So, so why not, So, and it's the Sailor second string side, and they're playing.
I know.
So
which
like,
team?
We can try to.
They were playing.
Sailors was the second string champion. I think the championship, not the.
Yeah, they were playing which team?
We played all their games in that year. We played that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we played box. I think the two games actually stand out for me was against box, and Helen likes talking about this stuff. Against box, I was the scrum half. Brenda Kai was the 12, and then Helen was the 15.
So you were three ladies on the Sailors team.
Yeah, Sailors. Yeah.
Okay.
And the funny thing, throughout this whole game, those boys did notice that actually Sailors had three ladies on the team. It's actually Ijongat and Mahmoud, who knew that they were actually ladies on the team. So it's better that Mahmoud told the party people, you know that Sailors has three ladies, and he started pointing out that one, and that one.
And they're beating you guys.
So yeah, and actually, I think Sailors won that game. I don't know, I need to be reminded.
Actually, you should start saying we won because you are part of Sailors by then.
I think we won that game because every time, because I remember she kept saying every time, now when they realize that the 15 is a lady, now Ijongat would get the ball and would try to kick, every time to kick to her, and then a bunch of guys, they all swam towards her, thinking now they would like tear her or something and then win the ball back and not score. But then, as we were playing, I told Helen.
So the Cobs army is attacking us, but we know the Sailors won. So.
Well, it doesn't matter. So the fact anyway. So Ijongat would kick every time high balls, and Helen would actually get them. So sometimes she would either kick back or give it to, there was a winger that she had on her side, and she would give it to the winger who would always run in and set up the ball. But every time Helen would get the ball, Brenda and I would always run immediately, like to certain, like immediately. If ladies have to look out for each other.
I know you have to look out for each other.
So we knew what they were planning. So I would come all the way from scrum half, and then Brenda with the 12th position and would come to help her, either like support her. If she's going in, would go in together, hold her, and we go in together, and then the ball would come out and they would go on. So that was the first game, actually, one of the games I remember. The other game I remember was against Charles. Now, in this game, I was punched. I was punched in the face.
Because they knew you.
And for the first time, I saw my ancestors that day.
Oh, man.
I don't know if that boy realized there was a lady playing, on the team, but this winger tried to run on the wing, and then I made my tackle.
I think Timo has experienced such moments more than you, though he didn't disclose.
Yeah, he has the number of stitches he's had. That boy, I don't know his face. I don't know if you're to count the stitches and that he's had on his face. I don't understand. So as I was coming into ruck, this young boy, I think they were like, how can a lady tackle this guy? Like, so as he was coming in, he came and bam! I was like, shit. As in, when they hit you and you're like, crap, this can't be happening. I saw my ancestors, they were like calling me. I was like, no, first wait. I need to first wait. So what I did, I tried to go on the side. I told Bobby, I've been punched. I can't see. First pour water. So they tried to pour water, and I was trying to be strong. I was like, no, I have to go back. I have to go back. But then as when I went back on and I tried to play, I couldn't do anything. You know, as in, you know, when you're like, your punch and you're like, yeah, you accept, and I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I can't play anymore because I couldn't see. Like this whole side was like done. I was out.
I
So
know.
Helen had to, and of course she had to make sure safety first. So she was like, no, take her out. You know, she can't continue playing, and I can't risk one of my playing. You know, like in this state. So that's when they took me off, and the rest was history.
It
So
had
I've
become a
had a
man.
few.
It had become a man's game by then.
Well, well, they didn't know that they were playing. So basically, it wasn't a man's game. It's rugby players playing, not wasn't
Uh-huh.
about a man's game.
No,
It was about
so you had
rugby.
a after having a brief spell with your ancestors, they told you to go back to where you belong.
I would tell them, you know what? First come out, let me first sort this thing down here, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll come back to you. I think up to now, but coming back. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's how serious it was. But I continued playing for 6 years until it reached a point. I don't know when Bobby stopped coaching and for like involved in Pirates rugby. I
Okay.
think then also as life, life careers, we started. We didn't have the time to actually play those early morning games. So and then we stopped playing for sailors.
So, does the weakness in the women's league did it contribute? Was it a determining factor in your fall from you guys going to the World Cup to like being almost being wiped out? Because I remember there's a time when we're not even talking women's rugby anymore. What really happened between 2009 and this time when actually women's rugby is starting, we're starting to see women's rugby trying to gain more momentum.
Uh, I like to believe. I think women's rugby started declining around.
Because Eunice is there showing off on us that the rain stopped raining in Uganda and started raining in Kenya.
Yeah, yeah. It started happening around 2012, 2013. No, 20 because 2013 was still actually beating Kenya. Because I remember we played against. No, I think it was 2013, 2014. Because
Hmm.
I think around the same period where Elgon we didn't stop playing Elgon Cup also. Like at some point there was no, like we had stopped playing Elgon Cup. There were not so many tournaments. And then in which year did Andrew War take over as president?
Just recently. Oh no, like Andrew Owo was after Bleak. That was
Blake, yeah.
I don't remember the year.
I think it was around 2014,
Yeah,
2015 there. That's
around that time.
yeah. So like it reached a point where we stopped playing Elgon Cup like at some point. Then the competitions were like the fact that people started, I think, moving away from, like they started focusing on their careers, their lives, and then tournaments, because every year Blake, the thing is every year Blake would make sure that the women's sevens team had a tournament every year. And this
Yeah,
tournament was the Reunion Sevens, where the Reunion Islands are.
yeah.
They're down that side towards the south in the one of the ocean down that side. So every year we would make sure we actually go for the Reunion Sevens, you know. So that was one of the tournaments we'd have every year to prepare for the Africa Sevens.
So
Then
the
we'd
sun,
also
the sun is over kissing you. We can't see you very well. We would
okay.
appreciate if you could turn your camera.
Let me do this. Is that better?
Is it?
Oh, it's the same.
Yeah, I think. No.
Let me do this. Let me hold it. Oh, it's still the same. The angle I'm seated at, it's like the sun is setting on this side.
And you don't want to be like Timo where Masanyala's agenda. So that is very fine.
This is better.
Yeah, that is better.
So like, so as we stopped playing those tournaments, then also like at reached a point Safari Sevens, the
Hmm.
Kenya stopped inviting Safari Sevens. Then out of the blue, they stopped inviting us to Kabeberi Sevens. So the only thing we'd have in the year was just Africa Sevens, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
most of the ladies, and there was no Elgon Cup. Like we're not playing Elgon Cup anymore. So most ladies I think got bored. I think they got bored, and then
So, but
personal issues.
I think it is because they were trying so hard for you guys to play the 15th game. Yet, I think you wanted more of the 7th game than the 15th game.
No,
Because
I wouldn't say that.
I remember when they started bringing Kenya to play the 15s for Elgon Cup. That is when the game started going on a low like that.
No, I think that same time, Elgon Cup. At some point we stopped playing Elgon Cup too. If there's a point, it reached a point whereby the transaction between Kenya and Uganda in terms of women's rugby had stopped.
Hmm.
So it would just be the guys to play the Elgon Cup. Then even the sevens, they would no longer be invited to travel down there and play against them. So basically, the only thing we'd have was just Africa Sevens and playing amongst ourselves. And at that time, the teams were not so many, so the competition wasn't like there was no competition at that time. So I think people got bored because there was nothing to look forward to, nothing to do. So guys just started focusing on life, personal. Like of course, people get personal issues. So slowly we started losing players, and the interest to play. So I think that's where the issue came in. Sometimes you need to also, when you're training, you have to have something to look forward to, and that had stopped.
That's true.
So and then also the union decided to relax. I think if they had at that time kept looking for at least 1 or 2 tournaments in a year for it wouldn't matter whether it's 15s or 7s, but just to make sure to keep us busy. Like what the one thing I appreciate Blake for is he made sure we at least had a tournament outside East Africa or Uganda that would attend or play before going for the Africa Sevens. So we should have kept doing that so that we don't decline as players, and at least the spirit keeps, the spirit stays high and people have something to look forward to. So I think the fact that also the union kind of slept when it came to women's rugby and started focusing so much on the men's rugby, I think also that was a contributing factor to the decline. So
Is it also because the women's league is not that competitive as I can say, like the few teams you guys have and everything? Is that also a contributing factor to why we saw a decline between those years?
no, honestly, I wouldn't say the number of teams, because right now we have more teams playing, women's teams playing than that time before.
Hmm.
Remember when we had only Thunderbirds?
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
when we had only the thing is the thing that's killing us right now, we are not playing games that often, that much, Before we'd have only one team, which is Thunderbirds, but every weekend would make sure at least we divide the team, make 2 teams, and people would play each other. Like every weekend would have every weekend. We had only one team, but we could still play, and the games were there every week. So I think that it's not about how many teams, because right now we have more teams playing, but the fact is we are not playing more games. And with the
So
number of teams we have now, still we should be playing more games than we did before.
So
So
basically, it's like we're lacking the structure in women's rugby and the support from above.
yeah, the support. And then also, I think also sometimes even us as women, I feel we shouldn't wait for the union to make these schedules and programs.
Okay.
I think we need to decide, let me say Thunderbirds can say, at this weekend, let us all meet at Thunderbirds and play a game this weekend, and it's up to us now, the other teams, to either accept or say no, but we just make
That's
sure
true.
every weekend that in case that now the union decides to bring out a schedule, the league schedule, we've been playing games. Even after the league, we still keep playing. So I think that's where the issue came about. We reached a point also we didn't have a structured schedule from the union, and then even us, we decided to relax and sit back, and
True,
not
true.
try to keep players because we're waiting for the union.
So, going forward, we see Black Pearls with the new kit and everything. Are we going to see more of women's rugby in 2020 and beyond?
Well, honestly, let's just accept 2020. I don't think there will be any much more rugby 2020,
And
but
beyond, yeah.
2021. Let's look at 2021. I feel, because I've noticed right now, Pulse has a lot of talent in the team, and the girls are willing to work
Okay.
hard, and they also do the strength and they do everything. So, and then, of course, as a lady, as a woman getting this sponsorship, it's motivating. Some of these small things actually kind of motivate a player and like different players, and so with a sponsorship deal, I think they'll feel like, oh, actually people can take us serious, and
True.
if we play harder, we might get more sponsorship than just it, so it just keeps motivating you to work hard. So I believe Pulse, this is a motivating factor for the girls and the team. So I don't believe, but I know the girls will actually bring their A game in 2021 and give everything.
So, as a veteran of the game, what do you bring on the table for the women's rugby in Uganda?
Right now, since I'm also still playing right now, I bring like a lot of skill and experience to the women's rugby in Uganda, because that's the best way I can actually help and improve. So working with the upcoming talent, it's easier to work and play with them, because when
Yeah,
they
true.
see you push yourself to the limit, they look at this experienced player, you've been playing for years, but you push yourself, to the limit and even equally compete against them. So they look at you and they're like, actually, if she can actually push herself, why shouldn't I? For me, I've just been playing for 2 years, 1 year. Maybe let me push myself and work as hard as she does. Then also, like with the skills I have, if I'm playing next to someone and she does something, I can tell her, I do this way, do this, do that. Just guiding them, just being a role model and a leader on pitch with them. So for now, that's what I'm contributing to women's rugby in Uganda. I just hope in the future I'll keep contributing, but for now, that's the best way, especially with my career and everything I have to do. So for now,
So,
as a player, I'm contributing to women's rugby.
all right. So last year I watched, I think, some of your games for the Africa Cup. But really, to be sincere, most of the games we seem so off the course. What should we do to bring back those glory days when Uganda women's team was feared and not walked over like what were done in the Africa Cup?
Okay, first there are two the different stakeholders involved in this. First, as players, we need to put in the extra,
Sure.
Right now, we need to put in the extra, not feel like we just having the talent, the speed will take us far. We need to learn and realize rugby, like in the world, has changed. It has evolved. We
That's
need to
true.
now hit the gym, make sure we have proper strength, hit the gym as much as possible. Do your extra work. Don't wait for the day when you're training with a coach to actually come and tell you what to do. We need to also put in the extra mile, work on your skills, improve on anything you want to improve. So that even as you're training as a team, you're not wasting so much time teaching you that skill you could have done on your own. We just work on the structure, So usually we spend so much time working on skills instead of now focusing on structure, and
True, true.
understanding how we should and what we should do when on pitch. Then, but even as other stakeholders, as you are, they also need to contribute. They need to organize more games. We need to play more games outside. Uganda, even
Sure.
outside. Like, we shouldn't play against ourselves all the time. For example, Kenya, the first thing they did to help them grow and become better, every year they would go for the Dubai Sevens, and they would go in, like, they would take part in the invitational, like, section, and they would go, and the first time they went, they were whooped, but they kept going every year, and you saw, like, every year they went, they would improve, because every year as you're playing, you learn something and you improve as players, and with time you learn how to play together. So we need that high competition, like at least a tournament once in a year,
That's
before
true.
the serious. Yeah.
So,
So
Charlotte, this live chat is ending in a few minutes. How about we end it and we come back for our final session?
yeah,
Talking about redeveloping women's rugby in Uganda, your career, and maybe there are some admirers here who are about to ask you about your single all chicken life and everything. So we're coming back in just under a minute. So bear with us. We need to end this before it ends. Thank you.